So everybody's talking about Vinnie Vincent charging $200 to join a Facebook group. How's it going, everyone? You're watching Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube, sightsoundsflavors.com. If at any point in time you like the video, please smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and leave a comment down below. I got to tell you guys, the Vinnie Vincent invasion in the 1980s was a pretty big deal. I don't know if you knew that or not. In 1986, one of the greatest rock albums of the 80s decade was released on Chrysalis. The title of the record was Invasion by Vinnie Vincent. Somehow, the fans took that to mean the name of the band, and it was no longer Vinnie Vincent, it was Vinnie Vincent Invasion. That record went on to sell in excess of 375,000 units in the United States alone. And I got to tell you something, it transformed metal. There would be no Guns N' Roses. There would be no Creed. There would be no Pantera. There would be no Salt and Pepper if it wasn't for the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. It did so much musically, not just for rock music and metal, but also for country, for R&B, for gangster rap, for everything. I mean, opera, you know, jazz. That record with songs like Do You Want to Make Love, No Substitute, Boys Are Gonna Rock to this day, has made an indelible impact on modern rock music. It's one of the songs that people just know. You can listen to it while having very, very rough. You can listen to it while driving a car at 100 miles an hour. You can think about it when you're trying to meditate or fall asleep. Boys Are Gonna Rock is just that kind of a classic. You can play it fast, slow. You can play it backwards. Even backwards, it sounds good. I mean, it's just that great of a song, and it was put out by the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. So there's a lot of fans there. Then they came out, and that record, I own the record, the vinyl, the CD. I may even have a 45 somewhere. The first record, the 1986 record with the classic lineup of Robert Fleischman on lead vocals, Bobby Rock on drums and percussion, Vinnie, of course, on lead guitars, all guitars, and Derek Strum on the, or Dana Strum on the bass. It's such an insignificant instrument. But, you know, and that group, that lineup right there, they just, I mean, they killed it, you know. And then, of course, I had that record with that other guy, that other singer. I don't remember his name. He and Delvin, or Dana and this guy went and started a new band that I don't remember the name of it. But I got to tell you, and then, of course, Vinnie saved Kiss. I mean, you know, when they were doing the tour for The Elder, they were playing Howard Johnson motor lodges, Holiday Inns, 7-Eleven parking lots. I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, granted, I'm exaggerating, but I mean, they were playing halls that could hold 10,000, 12,000. They were selling barely 3,000, you know? I mean, it was just, it was sad. It was sad. And even the Creatures tour was sad. They were playing very small halls. But once word got out about this new member, Vinnie Vincent, the Ankh Warrior, it just, and, you know, just breathed a lot of life, you know? And Vinnie wrote 3, if not possibly 4 songs on Creatures. I think one he's uncredited, but, and then Lick It Up. I mean, Lick It Up went platinum. You know, they hadn't seen a platinum album since Dynasty. And it was as a result of Vinnie Vincent. He wrote 8 out of 10 songs with Gene and Paul. So, you know, again, this is a major superstar. You know, I'm going to have to pour me some more Coke Zero. This guy's a real superstar. And you don't just wake up one day and sell 375,000 units. You know what I mean? That's a lot of records, you know, for a guy that, you know, everybody thought wasn't going to do anything because he left Kiss. Anyways, I mean, if I had the $200, I would probably spend it because it's probably going to be official. It's going to come from Vinnie himself or his team. It's not going to come from just random people, you know, like even myself. You know, I'm here speculating, you know, enjoying a Coke Zero, some other stuff, you know, talking to you about hysteria with $200 for the Facebook group. But I got to tell you, I mean, hey, listen, if people are going to buy a Kiss coffin to get buried in or to use as a cooler, if people are going to spend an ungodly amount of money on backstage Motley Crue passes when Nicky Manili, or whatever his name is, he's not playing the bass, and Vince sounds like a pilot. I mean, you know what I mean? Only good thing they had there was Mick Mars and Tommy Lee. I'm giving Tommy his respect. He's a killer drummer. It's fun to watch him. He did Mick dirty, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's not fun to watch. He's fun to watch, but Mick was the lifeblood of Motley Crue. The one guy that didn't have a Methods of Mayhem, didn't have a Brides of Destruction, didn't have a Vince Neil Exposed. This guy was always Motley Crue. And when he could give no more, when he was about just done for, you did what you did to him. You know what I mean? But I mean, you know, if people want to spend $200 for a Vinnie Vincent Facebook group, I don't see what the big deal is. Like I said, people will spend their money however they're going to spend it. You know what I mean? That's one of the few privileges that we have, is that we could spend our money as we wish, provided it's legal, obviously, because if it's not, you're committing a crime. So that actually like narrows it down even more. So, you know, you got to be happy about what you could be happy about. You know what I mean? And if VVI makes you happy, you know, if All Systems Go makes you happy, if the original makes you go, if Euphoria does, then what's the problem with that? I tell you what the problem with it is, and I think I'm going to rub some folks the wrong way, but I'm going to go ahead and say what I need to say, because if I didn't, I wouldn't respect me myself in the morning. Let's unpack this here, because there's a few things I want to talk about. Number one, people don't like to see Vinnie Vincent successful. You know, they don't. And when he did Atlanta, and I was there, my ex-girlfriend got me tickets. It was one of the coolest things ever. He showed up, and he was mobbed. And I was there, and people were going crazy to see him. And all the Kiss podcasts and regular music podcasts, and they all did interviews with him. And so I think a lot of people were upset by that, you know, and they kind of cling to the fact that this was a one-time thing. And then he started making other appearances, and they still gave him crap over it. And then as soon as he canceled one event, people were like, yeah, I told you so. Which is crazy. Kiss cancels shows. Metallica cancels shows. If a guy's got strep throat, can't sing. If a guy's got COVID, can't play. If someone in the family dies, can't play. It happens all the time. But the haters, they wanted Vinnie to fail. So they were like all on top of him. And then he would have a couple more events and he would actually show up. And then they were back to saying, well, when's going to be the next time? So I think that, you know, if we were talking about Kip Winger, or if we were talking about Tame Me Down, or if we were talking about, I don't know, Bret Michaels, nobody would care. I mean, there wouldn't be this level of outrage. They'd just be like, oh, it's just Bret. You know? But, you know, it's not. And so people are butthurt that Vinny's doing well. They're butthurt that people want to spend money on him. And then they're just butthurt because they're butthurt. But I think a lot of Kiss fans do not like Vinnie Vincent because they toe the line of Gene and Paul, like these three sides people I have heard of. I don't know. You know, on the flip side, you know, Eddie Trunk could be accused of being an Ace and Peter man. But he's not. He's objective. The reality of the matter, though, is that, you know, the fans of Gene and Paul, and interestingly enough, the fans of Ace and Peter, we're talking about the purists, they don't like Vinnie Vincent any more than they like Tommy Thayer, any more than they like Eric Singer. They are purists. And, you know, they probably don't like Vinnie because they think that Vinnie, I say save Kiss, they may say ruin Kiss. Because after Vinnie, Mark St. John followed suit. And even though Bruce Kulick doesn't like to paint himself out as an axe slinger, that's exactly what he is. And that's exactly the kind of guitar playing that he played. Vinnie planted that seed. So maybe the purists don't like Vinnie for that reason, but I think it's because, honestly, they just buy into Gene and Paul's rhetoric all the time. Kind of like the Three Sides guys do. Why do I keep saying Three Sides? I like Three Sides of the Coin. It's a great podcast. But I mean, talk about a couple of Gene and Paul cheerleaders if there ever were 2 guys on a podcast, 3 guys. 3 guys and the blonde girl that is on there sometimes. I am very gassy. I apologize. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I don't think it's a big deal. If you got $200, you want to join a Vinnie Vincent fan group, do it. Is it worth it? Does it make you happy? If you say yes, then it's worth it. And the other good thing about, I'm not trying to sell you on the group here, but I just want to say one last thing. When you pay that kind of money for a Facebook group, I can guarantee you're not going to read any spam. I guarantee you're going to have moderators that are fully engaged. I guarantee you that they may have giveaways. They may not just be you paying $200 and that's it. He may have a guitar speedball jam or something like that. And he might say, okay, 50 people, let's say 50 people pay that. You're not going to have more than like 10 or 15 people. You're not going to have a giant group of people paying $200 a pop. So if you got 50 or anything better than 50, that's a big deal. But money-wise, that's a big deal. But you could easily have a speedball jam for 50 people at SIR. You could have one for these people and not charge them a cent, which I know people are going to be like, he would never do that. Of course he would. If they're paying $200 a month and you figure they are a member for a full year, let's say, that's $2,400. I mean, he could definitely give out a free ticket to a speedball jam just to the Facebook group members. And the Facebook group members, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing because you would be one of 50 people, let's say, if they had 50, more than likely you'd have 20 or something like that. But you would be one of 20 or 50 people, I can't imagine it being more, that will be at a special concert that only members of the group for a full year will be at. So not only are you there with, a great show, and because you're with the show in a way because you're part of the Facebook group, but even remove yourself from that. You're at a great show, okay, at a great venue. You're seeing your favorite guitar axe slinger, and everybody around you is equally as nuts as you are about Vinnie because they're also paying $200 a month to be in this Facebook group. So if I had the money, I would do it. And I know that, I mean, again, the detractors are just thinking about, oh, it's $200 a month just to be in the group. You don't know if there's going to be specials, special shows, special meet and greet opportunities. I mean, Vinnie can do anything. If Vinnie does one of those speedball jams, he could even have a section just for Facebook group members. He could, I mean, if they really get serious about this, it could be like the KISS Army, guys. I mean, come on. The KISS Army costs money to join, and you can't compare a figure from the 70s in 2024. I mean, inflation is there. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, albums used to be so much cheaper. They were like $2. Why are they $20 now? Because $2 40 years ago was maybe the equivalent of $20 today. You guys, you can't ignore inflation. All I'm saying is, if somebody wants to join, especially the people that like KISS and Vinnie and stuff like that, have good jobs. Let's be honest. Whether they're blue collar or white collar, they have good jobs. They're hardworking people. KISS is a hardworking rock band. The apple, we don't fall far from the tree. We're hardworking just like those guys. But, it's crazy because you just think about the money then and now. It's equally as crazy now to join a Facebook group as it is to join a rock band's quote-unquote army based off of a record that you liked. Again, I think we're kind of going in circles here, so I'm going to just stop. I think, once you start repeating yourself, it's like time to cut out. But I believe that, they honestly, the detractors I'm talking about, the haters, there's a lot of Vinnie Vincent haters. I think you'll agree. They want to see him fail. They just want to see him fail. And they anything that he does, they're going to like rain on. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't drink the rainwater either. It might be yellow. You know what I'm saying? And so now they're all up in arms because he has the audacity, or he's the greed, or whatever they want to call it, to charge the fans because they're trying to get the fans to turn on Vinnie Vincent. You think anybody that's seriously considering spending $200 a month to be in his Facebook group is going to turn on him? I mean, guys, you got to understand what being a fan is all about. And I'm telling you, if you're a VVI fan, if you're a Vinnie fan, and you see these haters taking to social media, it's not going to make you turn on Vinnie. If anything, it's going to make you support him more. So, again, the haters will fail. Don't feed the trolls. and rock on. I mean, if it makes you happy, do it. If it doesn't hurt anybody else and it's legal and it makes you happy, do it.